So I'm really excited to have you here, Matt. Thank you very much for joining us. This is a long time coming. We've been chatting for about 3 months, maybe 4 months at this point. How long has that been?
I'd say about 4, almost 5.
Okay, 4 or 5 months. All right. And here we are. I think this has been something that I've been wanting to do because the more I talk to you and the more I've been exploring your business and understanding more about how you operate and what you do with your team, it's just really great stuff. And I think getting something like this together is just perfect for us. So, as I've been learning, I kind of want to have everyone else understand a little bit more. Take me back to the beginning. And when I say the beginning, you start where you feel comfortable, but what got you into the game of real estate? What got you into the business of real estate, and kind of what was that turning point for you?
Right. So, for me, I was always loved real estate. One of my cousins years ago was getting into when they were like building those pop-up properties in Orlando with the golf courses, things like investments. So he was into it. We actually went down to like a trade show down there, lost out on an amazing piece of property, which kind of kicked ourselves about that. It's in Reunion, Florida. It's a pretty sick place right now, but they were building these homes. A lot of like new age things were happening, like technology wise down there, and we just kind of missed the boat.
What year was this?
This was like 2003.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, great opportunity to get a piece of land. It was actually some people we knew from up here that had moved down there and got things going. But maybe 100 houses were built before they completed the development. We were before 2 of the golf courses were completed, and we didn't pull the trigger on it. And I was young. I was still in college, took the trip with them. But I was always intrigued even before that. But my main thing, I'm teacher, coach, head wrestling coach for years. So I was teaching. It was kind of hard to do both, but I was like, I could probably invest. Fast forward to just about graduating college. My cousin got a job in Philly. Couldn't afford to buy a place. So my brother and I went in with him. We bought a row house in Manayunk. Great little area. We still have it today. So that was our first investment property. Bought another one when I started teaching in Middletown after college, about 2007, 2008. Market took a pretty big downturn. Not that we were like belly up or overextended, but essentially, it was a good lesson learned. We got it rented, which was great. Took care of it for a little while, and we held that property for a long time. So I was always into it. The idea was to buy more properties. We were going to start flipping. The 3 of us put something together. Family started, got married. We bought our own places, kind of put that on the back burner. And then we decided to sell the house in Middletown. When we sold that, I was like, wow, I think I could do this. My wife at the time, Brianne, was like, hey, I want to do real estate. And I was like, you know what? I said, go get licensed. I said, you do that, I'll help you. Now at that time, I'm teaching, I'm coaching. Yeah. But for me, I was like, I always loved it, and I wanted to get involved in some capacity. So if Bree gets into it, I'm like, hey, I'll do this with her. So Bree gets licensed. Now I got the pressure. I got to take the tests. I got to pass. I got to do everything. So I did. We passed, and that's essentially like how we got things started. Got licensed, and then that was 2016, 17.
Okay. All right. So about 10 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
So that's when we got things started.
So you've had a swath of stuff that you've seen from 2003 to now it's 2026, and you're just watching market shifts, changes, and all the rest. What was the 2016 point that you said, you know what, we're going to invest time into doing the business of real estate? Like, what was the switch for Brianne?
So the biggest thing for Bree was actually, she was teaching at the time. I had our firstborn coming at that point, and it was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to teaching, or am I going to get into real estate? So she's like, I want to do this. And for me, I was like, listen, I love real estate, so let's do this. So we got in, had the firstborn. It was a little bit where, she was at home, she was handling stuff. And that's, again, the team aspect came together. And we're like, listen, let's do this, let's work together. But we were brand new to, hey, how are you going to do business? How are you going to get things going? So that's where, I had to reach out to some of my mentors that were in the business at the time. Hey, what are you doing? Where are you at? How can you help us? Piecing everything together. So we started probably, getting going right out of the gates like that year. And it was like, how are we going to build this to get things, to where we need to be?
What were some of the takeaways from the mentors that you said, hey, that sounds amazing, I'm going to implement it? You did. And what kind of results did you yield from something like that?
So for me, it was kind of twofold. And I wouldn't say selfish, but I was coaching for a long time. I was teaching for a long time. I wanted to be home. I wanted to be around my kids. Most teachers, if you were to poll 100% of the teachers, I would say 90% of them have a summer job. They have another, they're waitressing, they're bartending, they're doing some landscaping, something to make ends meet, because teachers, frankly, they don't get paid that much money. So when you start out, it's difficult. So you need something else to do. For me, I wanted to free up my time in the summers. I was a lifeguard for many years. I bartended, did a lot of things, but I wanted to free up that time in the summer, spend it, do something with my wife where we could go out, we can show houses, things that we enjoyed together. And then our goal was 5 deals. Like, let's do 5 deals a year. That'll offset having to work those extra hours, but we would put that in, and then that could free up the summer. And in the summer, I could work, as much time, because teachers, which a lot of people don't realize, you don't get paid in July and August. You get paid from September to June, right? And then it's, what are you doing in the summer? This is before, now they have summer pay and they have the 12 months. So some of it was self-motivated, like, hey, we love this, we want to do it. But the other piece was, okay, we could do this together. And then in the summer, now we're, okay, who's bartending at 2 a.m, who's doing this, who's doing that.
Right.
Let's do something together. So speaking to a lot of people, and especially a couple of mentors, like, listen, if you want to get into real estate, it's not all glitz and glamour like everyone says. There's the easy deals, right? But
Sure.
then there's a lot of stuff that goes into the back end, which we figured out quickly. But to get things started, we just jumped into it like 2 feet and let's do this. And little by little, it was the 5-deal goal. We got the 5 transactions, and that kind of started us rolling.
Okay. So in your first year, you guys did 5 transactions.
So the first year we did, I think it was 6.
Wow.
It was the first year.
Okay.
And
you understand how impressive that is in your first year, right?
yes.
Okay. All right.
So that was, so
We're not going to take that in,
Yeah.
right?
So, and not that I laugh about it, but looking back at that point, talking about the stages in real estate, I don't know how it was prior to us getting into real estate, but at that point, when you had a buyer lead,
All right.
it was like, all right, you're good. Like, you're going to go in, maybe a little negotiating,
Sure.
you're set. That obviously changes things one a little bit, but at that time, that's where it was. We weren't very listing heavy, but we were fortunate that we did get a listing from somebody we knew that trusted us, and then we got a buyer from that deal. So right there, that was just 2 transactions off the cuff.
Right.
And then we had a few other deals that came after that. So it was good to get that rolling. In the beginning, I remember sitting with my first broker, and he's like, yeah, you're getting, I'm like, are you sure? Like we can do this. We're going to get some deals going. He's like, yeah, it's like what you put into it. And that's where the coaching, the wrestling mindset for me, it's like I tell my wrestlers and my athletes, like, if you go out there and you're not sure if you're going to win or not, you're already beat. So in this game, like, you have to, it's like anything else, you have to put the time in. If you put the time and the effort, some people are going to knock it out of the park, but you're at least going to set yourself up for success.
Right.
And for me, it was like, I'm going to go after it, right? Like, I'm going to do the same thing I tell my kids to do, like, get in the weight room and train, get on the mat and drill, like, do the things you need to do to put yourself in position to succeed. We were able to do that. And then my wife and I, paired up together. It really worked well because the things that I couldn't do when I was working, she was able to handle on the back end for me while she was at home. And then in those days too, which is funny, when we first started, people didn't want to see houses till 5. People were at work.
Yeah.
They weren't working from
Yeah.
home.
No. Yeah.
Right?
Culture was different.
It was very different. So for me, I was teaching, I was coaching in the winter with wrestling, but I would finish practice, be out of there by 5:30. Bree would have set up, maybe 5 showings for me.
Sure.
And I would go after that before I came. Now, again, the kids, we didn't have kids, or they were very little at the time.
All right.
So we weren't missing much. It was like, all right, you got home, still good.
They're not making memories.
Yeah, it was very different. So at that time, and then if it was something during the day, which was very seldom, usually that was on the weekends, but Bree would take care of that. So we would do it. So in that time, that's how we kind of got things started.
So Sirchio Group is developed with you and your wife. What did you guys, when you were looking at this, what were you guys looking to bring to the table? Obviously, determination, hustle, everything else that you're talking about is there. What did you want to do to have you guys set apart from the rest of the crowd?
Going to the first brokerage. So a mentor of mine, really great guy. We were working with him. It was just Bree and I at the time. Would ask him a lot of questions. My broker was great. There was some trainings we did. But for me, it was leveraging the time, where a lot of people that are maybe, they say they're full-time agents or they're doing different things with their groups. For us, I was dual career, right? My wife had the kids at home. So we had to figure, okay, how are we going to leverage this and grow? So for me, I went from a brokerage that I really liked, but it was selling the name of the brokerage, because a lot of people, it was an awesome, phenomenal brokerage, but nobody really knew who they were. So for Bree and I, we were like, I was selling the brokerage before I could even get in the door to get the listing. So I need to go with the bigger brand. I had a buddy of mine that was with the big team, and I looked at that and I was like, listen, let's get on this team and figure out what they do. And there was access to open houses every weekend, and I was able to get in front of people, and that helped our business grow exponentially. The way the team was set up wasn't necessarily how I would want to run a team. So the way I decided to go out there was look and see what they were doing, take some pieces, but how do we leverage people that maybe have to be at home? Maybe, no, they have another job. Maybe they're doing something else, but they're in real estate and they could provide a lot of value. How do we leverage that? So I was looking at, how some of the teams were doing that, putting that into what I wanted to do. And then that's where I made my next move to a brokerage, which was Remax, which I thought was phenomenal. We had the branding, so I didn't have to sell the branding to anybody. Everyone knew Remax. But the team, the way it was set up, I had all the tools. I had everything that we needed for our team to succeed and grow. And that's kind of where everything left off. And then now this is where we are today.
And how many people, when you grew, how many people did you get to on your team, or how many people do you have on your team currently?
When we started, it was Bree and I, and then just virtually by organically growing, people, hey, Matt, you're teaching a couple, you're doing this, how are you doing this? I was like, listen, this is what we're doing, but I'm going to tell you, it does take a commitment. So if you want to be in, you're not getting spoon-fed leads, you're not getting it. But if you want to do business, you can do it. But you just have to follow the blueprint of what we've done, and not what we created, but what we've, essentially have been using the past 5 or 6 years. So little by little, a few people come in, they came with us. We started, when we went to Remax, we had about 5 people with us. We grew to about 10 agents. Currently now there's 8 of us on the team. There's a few other agents that have went off. They're doing their individual thing. And that's the other thing we look at. Listen, the team's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? The team's a great thing. You can go in. There's some agents that, are looking to join what we're doing, but maybe not necessarily be on the team because they like to run and do their own thing. But
Sure.
We have a lot of agents that are coming together. So we just came together with another group that came over. So now we have 14 people on the team. So, we're excited about, the new things that are going on here. We're just getting started. We came over in January, right? So we've been over for about 2 weeks now. Team's in place. We're having one of our first kickoff luncheons, if you will, meet and greets, which is going to happen in early February.
Okay.
And we're continuing to grow the team, but also what I love so much about this platform, what they have is if you're not a team person, right? If you're somebody, hey, listen, we want the benefit of being with you and like being able to speak with you, talk to you, see what you guys are doing, but we don't necessarily have to do all the team stuff. Like you could still be with us and we could still provide value because you're with us and the group that we're coming in with.
So essentially what you're talking about is that downline and upline with EXP. Because now you've moved on over, you've gone through the whole steps, we're at EXP together.
Yes.
And it was a privilege to kind of bring you in and say, hey, look, here's what we're doing.
Right.
And you're just running and gunning now,
which
is amazing. Because watching your growth, even just over the last month or so that you've been involved, which I know is that there's been a lead up to it, but it's systemic, right? So you're in this organic way that you've gone about it has been really inspiring, I think, to see that you've been able to grow and bring and kind of shoot things off that are like, oh yeah, to your point, they don't have to be part of the Sirchio team. They don't have to be part of, I think it's the legacy group, right?
Right.
They can still come in as EXP, but hey, you're getting all these feature benefits of what we're offering, which I think is a huge value add, right?
That's exactly it. And for us, it was like, that was one of the biggest keys here. Like I've had people reach out to me in the past, hey, this is what he can offer you. It was never brought to me and really, presented the way it was. And I know about 4 years ago, I, sat with Chris and a few different guys about certain brokerages. It just didn't hit where it hit today. And again, timing is everything.
Sure.
I think timing is really important. And I say it all the time, I'm a very loyal person, right? So like the people, I had some great people where I previously was, but it's nothing about the people. It's about what we can provide going forward. And the way I see the industry going, I feel like, we're on the right path here. I really believe that where we're going now is where the industry's heading. And the people that want to come with it, people are calling me, hey, where are you going? Why are you doing this? Listen, you have 10 minutes, sit down, and I'll explain to you what we're doing, and I'll put you in touch with people that might be able to better explain it because I'm new here, but this is why we're doing it. And everyone I've had the conversation like, good for you. You're doing a great job. Keep it going, keep it up. And again, we're going to work hard regardless, but we know that if we put the time in, we're going to have success. And we've proven that. So now we can do that with a bigger group and we have more reach. We have more people we can speak with. So
more resources, more tools, more leverage.
The tech stack, everything that's in there that, there was a lot of vet. Like I said, it's not an easy process for people. It's like, oh, you just make a move. There's a lot of things you want to vet. You want to look at everything you're doing because it's not just me now, right? Like for me, it's an easy move. I can make the move. I'm going to do it. But I have a team, right? There's people that count on me. There's people that respect me. They value what I'm doing. And I tell everybody, listen, if this isn't for you, that's okay. Yeah. But for me, it's like, this is why I'm doing it. And if it aligns with what you're doing and I'll put everything out in front of you, I'll give you the resources, but I've vetted this for multiple months, spoke with multiple different people about, hey, what do you have? What's the technology look like? How's it going to help our team be better? And the technology that's out there is unbelievable. Yeah. The things that I've read, and I haven't tapped into everything yet, but just the things we need to succeed are in place. The marketing, the back-end CRM, building the database, the coaching, the amount of things that are at our disposal is it's second. I don't know if anyone else has what we have. And if they do,
not yet. Well, they got to come in.
Yeah.
So they got to be part of us.
Right.
No, I mean, but you're hitting on some things which, I kind of want to talk a little bit about something you said, and you keep saying it, which is awesome, is this why factor. And it's not necessarily, here's why I'm doing it, and it's going to equate to dollars and cents. But it's always this, and I talk to my agents a lot about this as I built my team. You have that end goal of, it's nice to have the goalpost and there's a bank account. And here's the dollar sign. But the why on how you're going to get there is going to change as you grow your business and as you kind of move around. When you talk to some of the agents that you've been able to bring on, what has been the why factor for them?
So I think the biggest thing is when we talk about the why factor, a lot of the people on our team, essentially, they like to have that sense of not so much like belonging. It's not so much the monetary thing. It's being able to speak to somebody and have somebody in their corner essentially help them. And I would say for me, I love helping people, sometimes to a fault where, I think it's the coach in me, the teacher in me. I've been doing this for a long time. And when I do it, I'm out there. It's not about the money. The money comes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you do the right thing, but it's about people, right? Helping people. So for me, helping them and being like a shoulder lean on someone to vent to. Sometimes it's, they're having an issue with a client. Sometimes I'm having an issue and I have to call them. But you have that group of people, it's a great support group because not everybody has that. Right. And that was one of the things originally where people were like, well, if we go somewhere that doesn't have, the sit-in broker, it doesn't have somebody, well, we have each other. Right. And now, not only do we have each other, we have a great extension where I have people in the group that I've connected dots, put them with people. Hey, I know this stuff, but these people have been doing this for a long time. Right. We're going to give you that experience. But the why for them, I believe with our team especially, is we leverage each other a lot. We help each other. We have group chats. We have different things going. So we can always lean on it. And not that you're going to get an answer right away, but they know the support's there. And having that support is second to none. And little by little, listen, we weren't this mega team, but little by little we grew, and the numbers that we were doing, we're like a small boutique, brokerage. We've done some great numbers, and this is for maybe 90% of the people that are dual career, right? So, it's not the big producers that are just at this all day. We're out there and we're growing together. And that's the thing. Over time, you're going to have that success if you find your why. So the why for me is helping people. I think the why for my team's a little different. I think some of them enjoy a little bit of the money, but I think a lot of them also enjoy helping people. A lot of my people are teachers, coaches, cops, right? So it's like, hey, we're used to serving and helping.
Yeah. I find that to be impressive. Like when you and I first started talking and you're like, oh yeah, you're still teaching. Oh, crazy that you're spending, 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. or whatever the time is. And I think you make the joke of tying shoes, 8 hours tying shoes. And then you're doing another 4, 5, 6 hours at night doing the real estate thing, which this time management piece, I think is a little bit of your superpower, and being able to reflect that to the rest of the team of saying, hey, this can be done. And this is how you have to do it. Here's the minimal sacrifices that you're looking to make, but this is going to move you forward toward a career path. And I applaud you on finding success with that. When we talk about new agents coming into the business, well, I quit my career and I'm going to do this. Why? Right. Why did you do that? And when I did this with Brett, my first year I made $3,000. And that was the surprising part when you're like, yeah, I did 6 deals. Like, screw you. But at the end of it, a lot of agents enter and they want to do the right thing. And they have, the resources at their fingertips, or they, may be looking to come into something that we're doing where they have more resources, more fun, more systems in place, all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still, you've got to do these little things, and your time management has to be on point in order to grow this business. So people coming out of the gate, your success story is fantastic. In your first year, you say, hey, I have an easy goal, 5 transactions, which for most people in their first year, it's an impossible goal. You succeeded on it and then duplicated that process and said, all right, let me show other people how to do this. I think that's a wonderful package. Out of the 8 or 9 people on your team, how many of them are doing other jobs? You mentioned police officers and firefighters and teachers and all the rest. How many of those team members are doing another career?
Yeah, I would say about 75% of them are doing something else. We have a few that are getting full into this that don't have something else. But where you hit it with time management, it's so important. So I always say, you have to time block your day. For me, I don't have a choice. I'm in school teaching from, I'm there at 8:20 in the morning and I'm there till 3:30, right? So for me, like there's certain times where, I can't pick up the phone. But that's where having my wife, that's where Bree steps in. She can do it, but also the systems and learning from other people. Hey, look, you don't need to do it all, right? Like you're going to be there. And getting back to pre-COVID, I didn't show a house till after 5:30. Like people aren't calling. If they need something, it's going to come out. But having the resources, the technology to set that up, people on the back end, and that's all the things that I've grown to learn over the years with this. You can't do it all, right? Like I could be teaching, I could be coaching, but even though I'm doing like I'm not going home. Right? I don't know what they're doing at home. Are they working out? Are they getting that extra stuff and they're supposed to be like, we don't know. Like that's on them at that point. So when you're here as an agent and you're working, like you can't do everything like, now, hey, email comes out, you have to get it done. You have to have systems in place to do that. So what I've learned each step of my way from when I first started, I got great guidance. Everywhere I've been, I've had great guidance. And it's helped us to get to the point where we're at now, where we have things in place. The beauty is now we have people on top of, like, you don't have to just go into an office meeting. You have to go. So if you miss something, we could set you up with people while I'm in school. If you need someone to call, like there's somebody there for you.
Yeah.
If I'm working, or forget that, let's say you're not teaching and one of my team members, they're on vacation. They can unplug, go on vacation.
Yeah.
We have the systems to support their business while they're gone. And have we had that? Sure. But now we have a bigger umbrella of that and we can do it. So time management is super important. For me, listen, I tell everybody, if I can do this, right, being in school for, 6 or 7 hours out of the day, you can do this. You just have to want to do it. You have to show up. You have to put the work in, but you have to manage your time. And listen, there's times too, I don't know, Matt's on the phone. Like there's times where I have to take that call, right? Where things have to get done, but I'm not traveling months out of the year, right? I have my, vacation time in the summer, but
sure.
I'm home, so I get to see my kids. I get to do things. I'm at their sporting events. But there's times, I might be at an event where I have to pick up the phone, I have to do it, but I have the systems now in place and I'm still working on it. Like I've had meetings with Lars, I've sat with John, where it's like, listen, I want to set things up where I can scale away from that a little bit, but my business will still scale because of the time management and the pieces, putting those puzzles together so we can have success.
So where do you see, because now, look, you've gone from one brokerage, started your team, second brokerage, Remax, nice big brokerage. And look, I was with Remax too for a few years. So again, great brand. Now with the EXP model that you've got going on and being able to adopt and adapt to everything that's changing in the environment, where do you see the next 5 to 10 years of Sirchio Group, Legacy Group, you and Bree, like what's the future hold?
Yeah, so the goal of the next 5 to 10 years is to continue to scale and grow. And when we scale and grow, it's not to be absent, it's to be there and support our agents for what we've been able to do. So I feel like if we could duplicate what we've been doing, and I haven't seen another model out there which I've been that impressed with how we can do it other than EXP, but not just EXP, but the people we're with, right? Like our upline, the people we have access to. It's amazing. The training. I'm going back to square one right now. And that's for the next 5 to 10 years, building my database the proper way, putting things in together the way it should be done, and then utilizing that to help the team scale. So in 5 to 10 years, my goal is to be able to sit back and say, listen, like this group has taken off. I'm accessible. They need to talk to me, but there's people in the industry that I really want to work with. And a lot of them maybe weren't crazy about certain things about whether it was a different brand or a different, brokerage I was with. But everyone I've spoken to, they love the model and what we have set up and we can work together. Yeah. So it's really cool. So now it's not just me building the Sirchio team. I have other teams that are with us that want to build, and we're building it together. I love, and like I said, I'm a people person. I love helping people. So, I think if you're a greedy person, it's just like, hey, it's me, it's all about what we're doing. That becomes an issue. Yeah. But I like connecting the dots. I like networking. I'm a people person. Again, sometimes to a fault. I like to talk. I'm out. I'm doing things. But for me, it's like, I like being with different people. I like, hey, like, Chris, what are you doing to do? We've had conversations a lot about, hey, how can you help me with this? Like, my head starts spinning when I'm looking, not a problem, done. And like, that's the thing. I know I could lean on people for that. Yep. And then I could connect my agents, future agents that join with us, to the right people to get it done. And that's all it is, a conversation, because I found that the people that want to scale, they're willing to help. Yeah. And they're going to help you, and they've done it the right way. So let's connect those dots, and I'm good at connecting dots.
It seemed that way. I appreciate your time on this. This has been awesome to learn a little bit more about you, and then obviously show everybody else a little bit more about the value and grit that you bring to the table, and then where you're going to be going. I'm just excited to watch your success grow. So thanks for joining. And
appreciate it, brother.
It's been awesome. All right.
Let's do it, man. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.